Hey everybody, it's Steve, and today I'm going to be going over a new play to earn game, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it. Now, this is a little bit of a click to earn game, but it's the kind that might bring in more people into the game because we're going to compare it a little bit to some of the other games that are like that are still kind of popular. It's on the Binance Smart Chain, so it'll be easy and low fee, and a lot of the stuff in the game happens on the game server, and it could be kind of fun. So what game am I talking about? That would be Crypto Villages. And Crypto Villages is not something that you would think is like super unique, but you don't necessarily have to be super unique to be a good game. Now, this doesn't mean that for sure I'm going to be investing in this project. I saw it today. I did a lot of reading about it. I wanted to share it with you, get some opinions, join my Discord. Let's talk it out. Let's see if this is something a few of us might want to get into. There isn't a clan functionality yet that they've talked about, but I do think they do plan to add more and more as this game continues. So what's the basics of this game? It's a relatively simple game. You are going to be able to run a village. From that village, you're going to be able to level up different buildings that create different kinds of troops. And you're going to be able to then use those troops to earn in-game currency that can be exchanged for their token that's been created on the Binance Smart Chain. So right now, they're having their pre-sale because the game is not out yet of their different buildings. They have these premium buildings here that run from about $50 to $200. And then these ones down here are actually marketplace buildings, and we'll go over these a little bit further. And then they do have a demo video up, and they actually gave me access to their demo site. So I'll be playing around a little bit by, showing you how to move around the map and how it looks and things like that around the end of the video. But for now, we're going to get into a little bit of these different buildings, the tokenomics, and some of the things that, you might want to know in any play to earn game. So when we go to the game, there are different kind of buildings. There's a standard set that we don't have access to purchasing at this point. They'll be able to be bought in the store with your CVG tokens. That's the name of their token once the game is out. So on that, it's going to be something like where you can buy them one at a time or in a pack of 3. Now, if if you look at the previous prices we saw here, the barracks was $50. All of these would be under $50 purchase price. And if they have a 3-pack, there's going to be some kind of combo. If I had to guess, maybe like $20 a building, combo all 3 of them if you spend $50. It could be lower than that. It could be higher than that. That's complete speculation at this point. I've been talking to the team, but until the game actually comes out, we won't be able to purchase those buildings. You can purchase these ones now, and we'll go over those next. We'll take a little bit more of a look at this. So the encampment makes guardsmen. The stables make the cavaliers. So this is like a horse unit. And the archery range makes archers. So without having to buy any of the premium type buildings, your town would be able to make normal, what do you want to call these? Normal soldiers, a normal horse unit, and a normal archer. When you get into the premium buildings, they currently have a barracks that creates knights. They have a camel stables that create a camel riding soldier. And then they have a mage academy that creates mages. Mages are talked about here, and I'll give you a link. They have a really good book that goes over everything here that are said to be very, very rare and very, very powerful in their little mythology right here. So that's kind of interesting. Now, they also have these stakeholder buildings. Now, stakeholder buildings don't do anything in the game. They don't create units, but what they do is they give you like a profit sharing in all transactions that happen within the game. So the game has an in-game currency token called the Blooms, and it also has the ability, and then they have a CGV token. Now, they don't know for sure, but what they're talking about now, right, is that one CGV token would be worth 100 doubloons, and 125 doubloons would be taken out to get one CVG token. That's kind of a 25% tax when you take money out of the ecosystem, but it's no tax when you bring the money into the ecosystem kind of thing. So we've seen things like that in the Nintita game that I went to in the past. It seems to be a pretty popular way for allowing people to bring money into the game with no penalties, but when you're ready to cash out, there's a little bit of a tax. That is because these games are being designed with tokens that don't have infinite supplies, and we'll get into that when we get into the tokenomics a little later on. When we talk about the castles are kind of a unique thing. There's only going to be about 15 of them. They cost $5,000. They're individually designed. This is just a mock-up, so there's no way for you to say this would be your castle. You get to work with their artists. You get special roles in their discard, and they've actually sold about somewhere between 12 and 13 of these, so that's pretty good. On the wilderness, now the ways that you can go ahead and earn tokens within the game. So a lot of the game is just going to be a wilderness raiding type game where you build up your town, you build up your units, and you can go on different raids. You upgrade your building to get stronger units, and then you can go on raids that earn you more kinds of tokens. At the same time, you'll need to spend some of those tokens to feed your army. So it's a basic kind of like grow up your town, grow up your units, feed your units, spend your units out to fight. They'll make some money. You'll have to spend some of that money to go ahead and get the money back. And that's just the way that works. Now, there is going to be a PvP Warzone. Now they don't really have this fully baked out yet. That's why it's sitting here on the down the road. So this is going to be some kind of fight between players, but where they say that both players are going to win. So while it's a one-on-one skirmish, and maybe you'll be limited to a certain amount that you're allowed to participate in a day, and so they might just have a rewards pool that says, like, hey, this is a small example. There's 1,000 tokens that can be given. We have 10 players. Each of you can compete in a battle for 200 tokens, and then the winner gets a certain amount of the tokens, and the loser gets a certain amount of the tokens. That's as close as I could say of how I understand that this would work. Maybe the team will do a video with me later on, and we could talk this out a little bit more, but I think that's the general idea. Now, obviously, there's hopefully going to be a whole lot more players, and the rewards that you can earn per battle might be a little bit smaller than, say, 200 tokens up for grabs, but I don't know for sure what this is going to be yet. They are also going to have boss type fights. So basically, while your little world and your village seems like it's alone, there is going to be a PvP part of the game, and there is going to be a boss fight part of the game. So where you would actually have to combine and send your units out to fight a boss and hope that other people join you in fighting that boss, and together that you defeat them. They did say that if you did an attack, your town would automatically get some rewards. Sorry about that. But then they would go ahead and be able to get further rewards if the boss is defeated before the timer comes to an end. They do have an in-game marketplace that'll be completely handled by the players. So basically, part of this economy is going to be mastering the in-game marketplace. If you're having a hard time getting enough wood, stone, and or maybe you're just in a rush because you want to get further along and you want to upgrade your buildings, and it's going to take you a long time to get enough wood. So you come to the marketplace and you buy wood off of somebody who's maybe content not leveling up their buildings that much because they found a different way to make money, and that's by farming a lot of wood and selling it to the people that want to level up their buildings faster. Altogether, marketplaces within games are always fun if they're completely player driven, because all the money in there is going to be going back and forth between players, except for some fees that go back into helping them fill up the rewards pool, and the fees that go to the owners of the stakeholder buildings, as those buildings are really designed to help give them some money for the game to create their initial liquidity, and then give people a way to make a passive income from the game when people are playing it. So it's a very kind of way to kickstart their economy and have those people slowly get a return on their investment. They do say they expect, if they can get the game up and running with the current amount of players they believe they can have at launch, that the payback on those are going to be somewhere between 45 and 60 days, though they can't know that for sure because, you never know what the market's going to do. Oh, man, I can't believe I got a cough all of a sudden. That's kind of weird. I should have brought some water, but I don't want to start all over. I feel like this has been going okay, and I'm trying to do this relatively quickly. There's a little bit more here about the currencies, basically about the doubloons, about the actual CVGT token. Here's that, for now exchange rate they've talked about. Deposit 1 token to get 100 doubloons, to take out 125 doubloons to get 1 token. Then if you go a little bit, there is going to be a staking contract at launch for these tokens, so that if you did get like a pretty good amount of the tokens, you could stake them. And so they have an example where if you had 10,000 doubloons, you can stake them on October 1st and get 11,500 on the 31st. So that would be a way to maybe have somebody go ahead and buy like a certain amount of doubloons, stake them, get their staked rewards, restake that principal, and have this 1,500 to go out and spend on different items within the marketplaces or different items within the game, or theoretically to go ahead and mint a couple CVG tokens because you wanted to take some profit out of the game. Now you can see that that would allow you to get a couple tokens every single month just by staking a certain amount of the tokens. It's an interesting ability for them to give you yet another way to earn some money in this play to earn ecosystem. They are going to have a leaderboard functionality both in the PvP zone and the defend the Kryptonian that are going to defend the Cryptopia place. So basically, like if you're doing really good in PvP, or if you do really good in a boss battle, like you get a lot of attacks in on it, you're going to be the leader for those fights. And then they're also going to do leaders for the entire season. So think daily rewards and season rewards for taking part in both the PvM boss fights and the PvP war zones. There are the basic, consumables are going to be basic resources, relics, and rare items. The way they say it is that the basic resources are used in upgrading of all buildings. Relics are used in upgrading of buildings as well, but you'll need specific relics to upgrade each one of the different buildings. So you might have to go to the shop to maybe trade some of your relics that you found while questing and go ahead and get some relics that somebody else found, because you need ones for your mage town. They need some for their other stables, their camel stables, and you guys just aren't getting the correct drops. That is good because that does create that ability for there to be a marketplace. The rare items are similar, but they're gonna be, building deeds, which are the ability to acquire, actual like encampments and stables and archery ranges within the game, which is a cool thing to see. But they did say it's going to be very, very rare, and it's going to give you a standard building. So there's a chance that you might be able to find a standard building, and then I'd imagine those will be sellable on the marketplace, as these are sellable NFTs, if say you find one that you already have. So it's cool to know that you could get into this. You could decide just to buy the one building, try the game out, do your questing, and if you got really lucky, you might be able to find in another building. The team is in here, and they seem pretty, you have Dr. Michael Wright. I talked to him a lot on Discord today. He was a very nice guy. They have completed some KYC certificates through the Tango Crypto. This is kind of something that they do where instead of telling you who they are, they go ahead and tell a company who they are and that they are running this game. And this protects you in theory from a rug pull project. The reason this is because if they stole all our money, that company that they KYC'd with would be able to contact law enforcement and tell them who Dr. Wright is, where he lives, and in theory, he would now have to live his life on the run. So I like it when projects are willing to do this. I don't need to know who you are. I don't need to know where you live, because if the game doesn't work out well and it's just a normal decline in value and I get upset, he shouldn't have to risk his life because he tried to make a game. But if he runs away with our tokens, we want him to go to jail, get caught, and maybe get our money back. So all of them have completed it. The KYC links are here for all the main, like main positions, executive officers, and the chief, the CEO. Down here, these ones right here, they have links to like their LinkedIn, their GitHub to kind of prove that they're software developers, but they don't have that same level of KYC. But that doesn't bug me as much. A 3D artist, we're going to see their work. A software developer, we're going to see their work. They're not necessarily going to be the ones that are responsible for our funds and making sure that everything is on the up and running. They do have some special asset protections built in. It's the ability, they're going to kind of, this some people might not like, but they're going to have some things within their system that allows them to temporarily blacklist certain wallets they think are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And there is going to be a way for people to appeal. If you're a whale who are thinking about going super heavy into the game, this is something you might want to think about. If you go in and try to get a lot of their tokens and you try to then dump all of their tokens very quickly on a pump and ruin the market, it looks like they might block you. So this is something just to be aware of, and make sure you come and check this out. There will be a link to their book within the site. It was just something I haven't really seen. Now, when you go to the tokenomics, everything here looked pretty good. It's a 1 billion supply token. They have the in-game circulation of 500,000. They have 150,000 for the in-game staking. Now, that does mean that eventually the staking rewards will probably trend down, but they do have a lot of supply to support that really high APR on the token for a good amount of time. There are team tokens, but they are locked up for a while. 15%. That's about as high as I'd like to see a team take. They have a marketing budget. They have a private sale. They have a pre-sale. They have a DEX, and they do plan to do some airdrops. Some of the airdrop stuff has already happened. They are doing special things where occasionally they will allow you to buy buildings and get some of these tokens airdropped back to you. So that's something to know. They will have an initial value on the token based on the liquidity that they provide with some of the money from their allotment. So when they airdrop it back to you and they give you a dollar amount, that's what they're basing that off of. But obviously we don't know what's going to happen when the market goes live, so just know that those airdrop backs might not hold up in value depending on what goes on with this. It also could go up in value. It depends on how popular this game could actually be. All right, so now let's go ahead and just check out a couple other things we'll talk through now that we've gone over the basics of the project, and then we'll get into the demo. So they have a pretty good YouTube channel where they show a lot of different videos about their game. They were getting around 1K a view on all of their videos a month ago. But on this one here, only 2 weeks ago, there's only 16 views. So I haven't watched this one yet. Hopefully some people come here and they start to watch those. They were really solid around 1,000 views for a lot of their videos showing what was coming up over the last month. They do think that they're going to be going into beta testing soon, and there should be a little bit more coming out. I would like to see, maybe the subscriber count grow a little bit and not see this newer video come out and not have people watching it. That makes me worry a little bit that some of the hype for this has gone away, but maybe we'll bring it back into it. Who knows? Now, they do have a Twitter with around 4,000 followers, but they don't have a lot of interactions here on their tweets. So when you have a lot of followers like that, but you're not getting very many likes, you're not getting very many retweets, we all know that Twitter followers, Elon said there's a lot of bots out there. It doesn't mean they did that, but it's possible, we just have to, take everything with, don't, be aware. Just take a look. Tell me what you guys think. And if you're in this project and you're following them on Twitter, hey, start liking their stuff so that people know that there is a good amount of you out there ready to possibly play this game when it comes out. They do have, they drop a lot of different sneak peeks of their game in here. So they are active on Twitter. They are sending out a lot of messages. They are active within their Discord. I came and talked to them today, and I was able to talk to them, as you could see, back and forth. They went with me, and that was really fun. And they didn't even really know who I was. This was just when I fresh joined their Discord, and I decided to look into the project because a friend told me about it. And now I decided to cover it for you guys, because when I get into things, I like to share it with the people who are in my community and get some feedback from them, because a lot of you guys have been playing these play to earn games for a long time. Now we can go down here and we can take a look at their buildings and talk a little bit about how they've been doing in their pre-sale. Now, according to them, they stopped, they closed down the channel that was tracking their sales of these devices when they reached over $100,000 in revenue. So they've earned over $100,000. These items are being sold for BUSD, and they have given out maybe some CVG tokens in the back end as a way to pay people back. Now, the idea behind giving people those tokens when they buy a land seems to be that when the game starts, you'll be able to trade those tokens for doubloons, and then you'll be able to play the game because you'll have a good amount of doubloons to start the game with. And if you bought these barracks, you're going to want to play the game. You're going to want to level them up. You're going to need to do the raiding. It's the only way you're going to really make your money back from actually purchasing these buildings. They do say they have a 60-day ROI roughly, but you'd actually have to play the game every day for 60 days to do that. So it does make sense that most of the people that did get those kickbacks should probably put that money, at least early on, back into the game. At least that's my feeling. Now, how is $100,000 revenue doing compared to maybe what they were trying to get? Now, I will say the number seems pretty impressive in this bear market with Bitcoin down, with a lot of things going really low. They were smart, and they did all of their pre-sales in BUSD. They said they saw kind of that the market was in a bad place, and they wanted to have a stable currency so that when their game launches, they can go into a liquidity pool and set their token at the price that they want it to be set at. But I did the math really quick, and if you looked at the 2,000 buildings here that they have for sale, the stakeholder buildings that they had for sale over here, which are much less, and the castles that they have for sale down here, see, they only have 3 that are in theory definitely for sale, and then they have these other ones that are reserved. Maybe those people said they're going to buy them, so those could come back onto the market. But either way, if they're, say, somewhere around 120, 130,000, they might, come back to my video and give me an actual number on their sales. But they had over $1 million in items here if they were to all sell out. At the same time, I'm not sure they really designed this to all be sold out. When you're talking about 2,000 of these buildings being minted and ready to be sold in the beginning, while they have a Discord of only 1,800 people, obviously it doesn't seem like we need to buy more than one for our town, from what I understand. So it makes sense a little bit that this wasn't going to sell out. And I think this is actually going to be healthier for the game, because if they can do what they're going to try to do with this game, if they can get non-gamers to come and play this game, and it's because they think they're creating a game that people will enjoy playing, then it makes sense that you want to have some of these items available when you first launch the game. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are a little bit critical of the game. At this point, they don't have a fiat on-ramp, but they're aware that they might need one if they want to go ahead and bring more casual people into the game. They compared this game to Clash of Clans with maybe some Elder Scrolls stuff, and it does look like a game that would play a little bit like a Clash of Clans, but it's not going to launch with the ability to be played on a mobile browser. They do expect to get that going as soon as possible, but they do not want to delay their launch on a web browser. So right now you're going to have to play it on your computer. You're not going to be able to play it mobile. And I feel like those Clash of Clans type games, the reason that they were popular is because you could play them on your phone. You could play them anywhere to distract you from anything you were doing. It's not necessarily the thing that you came home and played on your computer, at least not until you got really into playing it or into a guild or something like that. They also with the idea that they want to bring in casual players. If a casual player comes to the game and they want to play it, and they see like, oh, you have to buy a building for $20 if you want to play the game, and then if you're going to earn these tokens, then you have to take these tokens out of the game, and you have to go to PancakeSwap. What's PancakeSwap? What's a Binance Smart Chain wallet? There's definitely if you can't do everything within your own game, take their money and then give them money back, then you're asking them to not only come and enjoy your game, but be willing to learn about MetaMask, Binance Smart Chain, how to get money in and out of Binance Smart Chain. And depending on where you are in the world, it can be harder or really easy to do that. Now, if you're in crypto and we bring over crypto play to earn gamers, a lot of you know how to use MetaMask. A lot of you know how to use PancakeSwap if you're on BNB and using the Binance Smart Chain. This won't bug you at all, but I just want to, put out there that games who really want to try to bring in gamers because they feel like they're making a game that gamers might enjoy playing, then realize they're making money and then really get into it and have some fun. Well, if they have to jump around to all these different sites that they're not really aware of, I worry that won't work that well. Now I'm going to go ahead and play around with the demo a little bit. There's going to be a little pause in the video while I get this loaded and get it going full screen. So just know that there'll be a little pause right after this. All right, guys, so I'm back. And so this is the demo of the game. And as you can see here, they have this is what it would look like at least in theory, depending on how much they change it before they actually go live with a beta, you'll log into the game. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to, click a link to go to their white paper. You'll be able to click a link to go ahead and claim anything that is owed to you. You'll be able to go into your village, your wilderness rating, your war zones. You'll be able to go defend against the big bosses, and you'll be able to go to the exchange. Now, currently, the village is working. So right here, things are still being made, so I'd like the ability to zoom out, but I don't have that. But as you can see, we got a mage building here. Also, they're all called barracks at this point, but that is a mage building from the sale with the mage in the middle. We got another building over here. We have another building over here. When you look here, you have time until units are starving, 10 hours. This is kind of where I said you're going to have to feed your troops. Every town will have one of these buildings here where you can buy food. So I could buy 10 foods here at 25 doubloons pure, per food. That would be 250. I could then take this food over here and I could do a feed now. Now they don't have everything working, so that kind of functionality isn't in the demo yet. The purchasing of food was, but the feeding of them is not. The game, this is not supposed to be the final look of it, but is the current look of it. And honestly, it looks okay to me as far as like, these are my buildings in the town. I'll be able to build up my troops, and I'll just be able to, come here every once in a while, check the feed level, check to make sure that my buildings are still producing troops, still producing money, because each building does produce money if you take care of them. So you buy food, you feed them, they tip you. So it's kind of the way that would work. Then you can go ahead and click here. You can see that you can have a little drop down on your resources to see all of them, because there are different resources in the game. There's an inventory button where you can see your consumables. You can see your different relics that you currently have. See what they've loaded up into here. You can also click here. You can go to the market, and now we could go out and purchase wood, copper, oak wood, maple wood, all the different relics that are for sale. You could also buy full buildings, because people will be able to sell their buildings here. So that's just something to be aware of right there. And then you can list items. So you can go ahead and list your own items for sale. So that's the idea of how the marketplace will work. We can go ahead and go back and take a look at the wilderness. So right here in the wilderness, you're going to have your village, and then each one of these areas are similar to the fact that each building has a tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the valley is kind of the tier 1, and then this is the tier 2, this is the tier 3, and this is the tier 4. So when your village is first starting off, you'll come over here, you'll click on the forge, and you'll go raiding with the current buildings that you select. So you can select who you want to send, what troops, and they can do a raid. Once they do a raid, you'll have a certain timer. You'll see that your raid is complete, and then you'll go ahead and click here and you'll get your rewards. You'll get different random rewards, including random relics. This is where if you needed a spearhead and a water to upgrade a building, yes, I did it. If it's like, ugh, all I ever get is oasis, water, and spearheads, well, then you need to go to the marketplace, sell some of those relics, and buy the relics that you need for your building. Now, if we go ahead and hit the home button, you'll see the war zone, not available yet. Defend, not available yet. The exchange, this one is to go ahead and pull money in and out of the site. Like I said, there is a certain amount that you have to spend to withdraw your CVG tokens from your doubloon stack. And then if you have CVG, you can sit here and you can turn it into doubloons. Oops, that brings up the raid complete button if you type a 1. So I should have typed a 2 there. So it'll also, as you can see, you'll have your link to your BSC scan for moving your tokens around, and all of this is built up and mocked out. They're just working on getting everything working on the back end. I haven't clicked claims. Oh, there we go. So this would be if you have the buildings that earn the passive income, you would be able to click there and claim currently on my 14 rewards. All right, we're going to go ahead and exit the demo now. There'll be a little pause again just for a second while I get out of this and go ahead and give you some of my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm back, And, I'm sitting here in their Discord, and I've noticed that, earlier today when I was at work, I was the only person in here chatting. We do have some other people that have showed up now, and some people that, commented on, they have all this swag for their game. These are some of the actual creators showing that they're, really proud of their creation. We had one of the guys that bought a castle show us his castle. So this is his particular castle that was made for him, and each one of them gets their own kind of special, unique, stuff that they're able to put into here. So, that's pretty cool. I'll give them a fire. I'd say overall, the team seems pretty cool, pretty honest. They're making a game that they mean to be kind of fun. So, it reminds me of a lot of the kind of games that I've seen get somewhat popular on phones. You basically get different place buildings that can build up different amount of troops. You'll get troop numbers. You'll be able to send those troops on raids. You'll be able to raid PvE to earn resources. You'll be able to fight players. You'll be able to fight bosses. They could probably add dungeon stuff later on. How can the game continue to grow? Well, that seems pretty obvious. You've seen that currently they have, these 3 premium buildings. This one does knights. This one does camel riders. This one does mages. So they have regular soldiers, archers, and like a chariot horse. So you could have one that does paladins. You could have one that does archmages. You could have one that does, think of any kind of military unit, crossbowmen. Things like that. And so they can add those in later on and create additional buildings for additional units, introduce them to the game. And if you want to stay on the top of the PvP ladders, if you want to be the guy that does the most damage to the bosses, if you want to pull down all those sweet rewards and those sweet play to earn top tier stuff, you're going to have to come here. You're going to have to buy these. And that's a way they're going to be able to keep bringing money into the ecosystem. They haven't said they would do that, but this is me kind of speculating on what could happen in the game going forward. They did say that once these are sold out, they're gone. So there is no plan to issue more of these. So once all the trading posts are sold out, once all the bazaars are sold out and banks are sold out, those players will only be able to sell those on secondary markets. And again, these are designed for you to get passive income returned from the game based on the one that you own. The way they kind of work is if you buy this one, you get 1 share. This one, you get 3 shares. So you get a discount there on the 3 shares because it would cost you $1,500 here. So you can see if you were willing to get 3, you should buy this one. And if you wanted to get 7 at a time, you buy this one over here. They did say that the bank is the closest to being sold out. These numbers are not accurate. You cannot buy mint number 1 of these. So it's just something to realize that, their website is still, with things coming soon. The demo button here will not get you into the demo yet. The pre-sale button is technically over, so there is no more discounts. During the pre-sale, these prices were discounted, I think, around 10%. So this was $45, this was $90, this was $180. So they haven't gone up in price a whole lot, but at this point, you can come hang out in their Discord, hang out in my Telegram. We could talk about this. Who knows the kind of deals we might be able to get. I do know that right now, just today, they did an announcement that anybody that came through and bought a barracks, there was only the first 5 people to do it, and then fill out this form, you'll be able to go ahead and get, what was it, $25 back. So it's a $50 barrack. You'll get $25 back in the CVG token. So right now they're saying 420 tokens would be valued at $25. Let's see what they think the token is worth really quick. So 400, okay, wait, how would I do this? 25 divided by 420. 5 cents per token, is that right? If we multiply that by 420, yeah. So it looks like about 6 cents per token is what they're valuing at. If this is inaccurate, you get 420 tokens for buying a $50 building, and they're saying that they're giving you $25 back. That's actually not too ambitious of a price, so that's kind of nice to see. I'm glad they're not saying they're giving you $25 back and necessarily giving you 1 token, because it's hard for a game like this to launch with 1 token. They also do seem to do different kind of contests for you to be able to get free buildings. One of them they're going to have is an invite contest, so there will be a link in my description. If you click on that link to join their Discord and talk to them, you'll give me an invite, and who knows, maybe I could win a barracks or a camel stables or a mage academy. That would be pretty cool. If I do win an item, then I will definitely try the game out and will definitely follow up how it goes and how it works and how many people get into it. In general, I want to know what you guys thought of this. Either make comments below in the video or come talk in my Telegram group and let me know, would you play a game like this? Is it a little bit too much click to earn and not enough fun? We haven't seen battles in action yet. They have said that they're going to be more than just, hey, click a button and your units go fight. When it comes to the PvP and boss fights, you're actually going to get to see some fights, and that's a little bit better, because we all know that Alien Worlds, you click here and then you click here and then you click here, and I wait a moment. Woohoo, I mined some coins and I got some NFT points. Oh, and when I go on a mission, well, then I clicked here and I clicked here and then I'm waiting. And yet this game is, somewhat considered a legitimate game that got listed on Binance Smart Chain, and it is nothing more than a very, very simplistic click to earn game with staking mechanics. And I would say that Crypto Village is going to have a lot of those same things, but with a feel that has been pretty popular in mobile games. I do feel like they will need to make it a mobile centric kind of accessible game for it to be truly the level of engagement that they want, or the PvP and actually fighting of the armies is going to have to be very, very impressive, so that people actually want to play it on their computer and do those fights and make those, are willing to spend the money to make sure they have all the best buildings, all the best units, and are really, really competing in those PvP battles, so that they can dominate over other people. So thank you. Here's to the Crypto Village team. They were really nice to me today, so I decided to make a video, find out what you all think, and thank you. Goodbye.